What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. It's starting 11 prediction time for the big one. Tomorrow, the League Cup semi-final at Hampden Park against Aberdeen. So much to look forward to coming into this game. It's the two informed teams in the country. We had a really good game against them a couple of weeks ago at Celtic Park that we should have won, but credit to them for coming back in the second half. A really entertaining 2-2 draw. I'm sure that would have been a great game to watch if you were a neutral. And a half-5 kick-off at Hampden Park. There's always something quite unique about those games. It's always a brilliant atmosphere. I expect that tomorrow. I expect the place to be absolutely packed. Aberdeen will bring a good support. Looking at the atmosphere at their game against Rangers during the week as well, it looked incredible. And you know that we'll always have a huge support, a brilliant backing at Hampden, so it's a great spectacle. It's all set up to be an absolutely fantastic game. Really looking forward to it. We come into it off the back of that 2-0 win over Dundee on Wednesday. I thought it was run of the mill for us, really. A wee bit of a slow start, a lot of changes to the team. I was nowhere near it with the team, obviously, because Brendan Rodgers ended up making 6 changes. We saw the likes of Yang and Palmer come in. Ralston played it right back. Taylor did come back into the team. So there was lots of changes, and I don't think we were quite our fluid selves in that first half. And I think the wide areas really sort of hurt us. Kyogo fluffs the two big chances as well in that first half. So took us a wee while to get going, but we got a good win in the end, and now we're all into this game on Saturday, and then we'll get the big one against Leipzig. So there's so many big games to look forward to, and thankfully Brendan Rodgers has confirmed that Adamida is available. Kuhn's fine as well after not playing the other night. We're back to basically a full squad other than Odin Thiago home, who's not had a look in anyway. So lots of dilemmas for the manager in different areas of the pitch. The bench should be really strong regardless of the 11 that he picks tomorrow. And you feel that we might need players off the bench throughout the course of this game to change it up and keep that intensity. That's the one thing, if you look back at that 2-2 draw, early in the second half we let the intensity drop and we allowed Aberdeen back into the game. That can't happen tomorrow. It's a big pitch at Hampden. We've got to take the game to Aberdeen, and if we get in a commanding position where we're in control of the game this time, we've got to hammer it home and make sure that we convert it into a victory. Our last 3 games against Aberdeen after 90 minutes have ended in a draw. Obviously the 2-2 at Celtic Park. There was the 3-3 at Hampden in the Scottish Cup semi-final at the back end of last season, which we obviously went on to win in penalties. And the game before that was a 1-1 draw at Pittodrie in February. So there's not been much to separate the teams recently, and Aberdeen are riding the crest of a wave at the minute under Jimmy Tilleen. They've obviously been on this brilliant run. I think Aberdeen are by far the most difficult opponents that we could play in this semi-final tomorrow. It's clearly a more difficult game than Rangers right now. I know it doesn't have the intensity of the rivalry with Rangers, but there's no doubt that Aberdeen are the toughest opponents that we can face domestically right now. So we will need to be right at it tomorrow if we're going to secure passage to the final. But I'm really looking forward to it, as I say, buzzing for the atmosphere. I love the half-5 games at Hampden. They've got something different to them under the lights, so I'm really looking forward to it and can't wait to get started tomorrow. So let's think about the Celtic team then, and we'll start in goals. As we always do with Kasper Schmeichel. He actually made a brilliant save, and we forgot to mention it in the full-time reaction the other night. He makes a brilliant save in the first minute against Dundee. I think it might be Simon Murray that stabs it goal bound, and he has to get down low into the corner, put a strong right hand to tip it round the post. A really good save. Other than that, he wasn't tested too much, but you don't want to go behind early in the game, and it's a really brilliant save. In terms of the back four, I think Johnson will come back in to start after coming off the bench to sort of rescue it for us the other night. Centre half's a big one. We've got Trusty, Scales, Carter Vickers is now back, so there's big decisions to be made there. I'm going Carter Vickers and Liam Scales, and at left back, that's the other big one. We'll come to that in a minute. I'm going Greg Taylor. In terms of centre half, I just think that's the best pairing. Trusty done brilliant against Atalanta. I know he had a couple of wee shaky moments in his first few appearances, but I think if you're pushed, you want to get your best 2 centre-halves in there, your best 2 performing centre-halves over a longer period of time. It's without a doubt Carter Vickers and Scales. I think that's what the manager's going to go with tomorrow, and it'll be telling the pair that he picks. We'll obviously get Leipzig on Tuesday, but that is not an area of the team that you want to be chopping and changing all the time in between big games. They've got a good understanding, Carter Vickers and Scales, and Carter Vickers haven't been out. The quicker they can pick that back up, the better, especially coming into these big games where they're going to be tested against the likes of Leipzig on Tuesday. So left back, I've done a poll on Twitter earlier today. Who would you start? I asked you guys, Taylor or Valle. And I think 60% of you voted for Alex Valle. There's obviously the contract situation with Greg Taylor. I just have a feeling he's going to opt for Taylor tomorrow. Again, this is one where it'll be telling who he picks. Whether or not Greg Taylor is going to move slightly down the pecking order until the contract situation is resolved, I don't know. I know a lot of you prefer Alex Valle from what we've seen early doors in terms of his pace, his technical ability. But I think Greg Taylor will just get the nod tomorrow. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Alex Valle return on Tuesday against Leipzig. You can let me know what you think at centre-half and at left-back in the comments below. Please do. Midfield, McGregor's back. There's no doubt he's going to come back into the team. In front of him, I'm going with Hatate and Engels. Now, that might be harsh on McCowan and Bernardo. Again, I just think when it comes down to the crunch, if Brendan Rodgers is forced to put his strongest midfield in there, I think he would opt for McGregor, Hatate and Engels. Bernardo's been good, McCowan's been good. Those are strong players to have on the bench. Yes, they'll be disappointed not to start this game if this is the three that get the nod, but that's playing for Celtic. You need to deal with the fact that there's competition for your jersey. There's really good players in your position, and you have to share the minutes, particularly in runs where you've got lots of big games close together. So I think McCowan and Bernardo will drop out. They'll be really influential players from the bench for us. We might see both of them, probably will see both of them at some stage in the game. But again, when it comes down to everybody's fit, I think Brendan's going to want to go with McGregor, Hatate, Engels. And again, if you disagree, let me know in the comments below. Front three, I thought the wide areas the other night would drive you mental. Yang and Palmer coming in, yes, they haven't played a lot of football, but at the end of the day, they've not played a lot of football because they've not proven to the manager that they're better than the other guys competing for their position, competing for their jersey. And that the other night is a rare opportunity for them to impress and to try and show that they should be playing more often, and they didn't do that. There's no free passes, there's no excuses. That was one of their opportunities to come in and get in everybody's mind to say, do you know what, maybe he should be playing more often, particularly to prove to Brendan Rodgers that they're an option. And I don't think either of them did that. They were very, very poor. Kuhn had a night off. He'll undoubtedly come back in and play on the right-hand side. Dice Maida came off the bench. I think he'll start tomorrow, and I'm going to go with Kyogo through the middle. Adam Ida's back, which is a huge boost for us, because I think we've had that luxury of changing it. Whether Kyogo or Ida starts, we change it 65, 70 minutes, and they are two totally different prospects for defenders. So not to have that on Wednesday did sort of maybe slow things down towards the end of the game for us. It gives the opposition something different to think about when Ida comes on, when you've been facing Kyogo and his movement and you're tired, and then Ida comes on with his power. So it's good that he's not out for any period of time, but I just think Kyogo will get the nod. He obviously misses two big chances the other night, there's no doubt. He's been a bit erratic in front of goal this season. In the back of my mind, I'm contemplating whether this will be his last season or not. Obviously the change agency in the summer, the links to Man City in the summer, you wonder if his energy is quite where it was maybe in his second season, Andrew's last season. And obviously he took time to get up to speed last season, but still managed to notch 19 goals. I'd just like him to be a wee bit sharper with his finishing. I know people thought when he first arrived at the club he needed a lot of chances to score a goal. That wasn't really the case, but I accept it, particularly running through on goal with lots of time. Those are a weak point for him. Those chances are a real weakness. It's the instinctive finishes that he seems to be good at, but I would like him to really tidy it up and sharpen it up in front of goal, because he could be scoring a bar of load. So there you go. That's 11 I think the manager will go with tomorrow. Let me know who you think will start in the comments below. We're going to be back with you outside Hampden tomorrow with full-time reaction, and then we'll be at Malone's as well for the post-match pint. So join us for that. Wherever you're watching the game tomorrow, enjoy it. I'm really looking forward to it. We will see you then. Thank you.